If you love me half as much as I love you. Christine's my oldest, and I love her to death. And probably some of the things that I remember about her is that come Easter time, I'm my oldest, and I love her to death. And probably some of the things that I remember about her is that come Easter time, I'm supposed to go out and buy her new shoes. You know, I never, ever bought her a pair of shoes. If she didn't like them, she wasn't going to wear them. She wore me out just going, and then later on I found out that she just done that to hang out with me more. If she didn't like the shoe, I'm talking about when she's 5, 6, 8 years old, and she didn't like shoes, she didn't wear them. And I love her very dearly, and her hair was real short for a long time. She almost looked like a little boy, and then it started coming out. She had beautiful hair, you know. So anyway, that's Christine. And then Danny Ray. You wouldn't worry me half as much as you. You know, he was my first son. You're nice to me when there's no one. I liked it. I liked it whenever he was involved in his wrestling and stuff, and we could travel around together and watch him when we go from city to city, you know, and stuff like that in his sports. And Gary Wayne. Gary Wayne was, I think he was only about 3, maybe 4 months old when we lost him. He died of interstitial pneumonitis. That's sort of an instant pneumonia type thing. But he was a bubbly little fellow. I can see him while I'm holding him up in there, and he had the prettiest blue eyes, and he's staring down at me, and he's giggling and slobbering on me. This slobber coming right down on my face. He'd done that about every time I picked him up like that, you know. And ain't a day goes by I don't think about him. And so then Ricky was always in sports, and I always like to tell the one story. I was a truck driver at the time, and I took him out on the truck with me. And we went to a restaurant, and I didn't realize what I was doing. We went to a truck stop restaurant where there's a bunch of truckers in there, you know. The waitress comes over and I order my breakfast, whatever it was, and then they asked Ricky, said, what would you like, young man? He said, I want 2 eggs and 2 pieces of toast. And he said, I want 2 pieces of bacon. And the waitress says, well, how would you like them eggs? And he sort of looked and he said, huh? What'd you say? He said, how would you like the eggs? And he said, I'd like them right here. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. I thought he was about as dirty. He had dirty socks on, filthy. Them boys, they were all of them used to have them filthy old socks on. And I said, man, look at your socks. He says, well, what do you expect? We're truck drivers. All those truck drivers just laughed. He was a character, boy. A lot of people just really navigated. I'm talking about grown-up people. He'd talk to them, and he'd call everybody Mister. You know, that's him. And so then Nancy was the daughter that a lot of people didn't know, and she was really a beautiful and wonderful, caring mother, and kind of a good friend and a good daughter, but we lost her too at the age of 36. And so I saw the light, I saw. And Shannon is the baby. Shannon's the one that's got the set of twins. I always like to talk about her. She was in a coma when she was smaller, and after they come out of the coma, they said that she would never have any education, too much of brain damage. Shannon's got a college degree, and she was married for 6 years, and she called me. You know, I'm always pulling pranks on Shannon, too. And she called me one time on the phone, and she said, Dad, I got something to tell you. You ain't going to believe it. And I said, what's that? She says, I'm pregnant. And I thought she was pulling a yang-yang on me. And so I hung up on her. She called me back a week later, and she said, well, if you didn't believe this, you ain't going to believe this. She says, I'm going to have twins. And so I was in a bad motorcycle wreck, and it messed me up in the brain and shoulder, and punched a hole in my heart and run in my lung. And because of my brain, they wouldn't let me ride a motorcycle no more. Said I shouldn't really. And so I found a little place to where in Kentucky and got a little campsite down there. And the last 3 years I watched the girls and ain't going to be able to this year. That's going to be sad. But and Shannon. Then I got Leah. She's my stepdaughter. She lives in southern Indiana. And I really, we had a lot of good times, me and her. And anyway, I rode her back from Wisconsin. She was in Wisconsin. I rode a motorcycle out to pick her up. And at that time, she was a little heavy. And I got these foot pegs for passengers. They just stick out, but they got rubber gauntlets that goes over it, and you put your foot on them rubber gauntlets. And I just put a brand new pair on there whenever I went down there. And there was Harley Davidson's ones too, brand new. I got down there and I'm bringing her back, but she was big, and I could tell she's probably getting chapped. She's just scooting all around. You can tell she's uncomfortable. And so I made a mistake, and I told her, I said, when we stopped and rested, got something to eat or something, and I told her, I said, Leah, there's these foot pegs. I said, you can just grab a hold of my shoulder. And we had stuff loaded all on the back of it, all her stuff and everything. It looked like a Beverly's Hillbilly motorcycle, what it looked like with all the stuff. And so then she started standing up. And I said, you stand up about every 25 minutes or so. And I said, just shake a little bit. And I know you're hurting. And so she started standing up about every 5 minutes. And then it turned into about every 3 minutes. And then it turned into about every 30 seconds. She was just up and down, up and down. And she wore the rubber pegs plumb off of my they just fell off. And so whenever we got back to Henryville, where we lived at, there's a road down there, and there's a little uphill that goes uphill like that, and there's a stop sign. And we live on this street here, and I had to stop at that stop sign. And we're going there, and I noticed she wasn't saying nothing. She was either saying something, hollering up in my ear or something other, or singing. And so I pulled up that stop sign and stopped, and she fell plumb on top of me. She went to sleep back there, right on that motorcycle. And she hit me there. Every time she hit me, and she bounced it. She still got her head in. She said, "What'd I do? What'd I do? What'd I do? Oh my God, what'd I do?" I said, "Get off of me! I gotta hold this motorcycle." That was funny as hell. That was a good trip. Thank you. Well, then I got my daughter that lives in North Carolina. There's a great story behind. I don't think I'm going to tell the story. I'll let her tell it if it needs to be told. Not at this time. I don't want to tell the story. But what I'll say is that as a result of her being in my life has been completed. I'm not saying my other kids didn't complete my life, but she was the final completion of my life, and took away a lot of sorrow that I had. Anyway, I love her very much, and I know she loves me, and she gave me the gift of 2 grandkids, and one of my grandsons, her son, he was gone. He's 26 years old, and we lost him. And so that's still pretty sad to her. It's sad to me that it saddens her as much. And then she's got a 20-year-old daughter, which is my 20-year-old granddaughter. And we've learned and bonded like, it's just, my life has been completed with my kids, with my grandkids, and nephews and nieces. I've had a pretty complete life, really. I been loved a lot, and I've loved a lot. I don't hold no deep resentments or anything like that towards anybody that I know. The last guy that I did do that to, he died, had a heart attack before I had a chance to help him get there. I'm really, and I really, truly am convinced that I am one of the most luckiest human beings on the face of the earth. I truly am. The people that care for me, the people that shows me love, the people that sticks their hand out, and and the friends that I've got. I remember. I like to tell this story. I remember He was a union president for the union I used to belong to, and we was having a union meeting one time, and somebody was talking about, well, he's supposed to be my friend, or they supposed to be our friend, or something other. And he says, well, I'd like to tell you something. He says, if you can find that many people at the end of your life that you said was your true friends, you've lived a good life. And what I've lived, if that's true, is an exceptionally good life. Truly. I've been getting calls from New York, from Texas, from Illinois, from Kentucky, from Tennessee, from Georgia, from everywhere. I've wasted it, so help me, Jesus. I know what I am, but now that I know that I needed you, so help me, Jesus. My soul's in your hands. Jesus, my soul's in your hands.